that seemed to have gone reasonably smoothly, thank God. I'm trying to establish my ID so I can actually sell my property. They're making it much harder. So the last 6 months I found out from my real estate agent, they've tightened up on the requirements to establish your ID. In my case, because I don't have a driver's license, I have to provide two forms of ID. One photo, which is the passport. If I didn't have that, God knows what would happen. And the other one I have to get as a birth certificate. So I have to get that from Victoria, seeing that's where I was born. And I've just went to the local cop shop up here in Cairns, and they were very nice and efficient, and just sat aside photocopies of my ID, which I then passed on to which they just eyeballed and stamped and filled in little note saying that they'd actually seen it, and it was me, and I just got to send that paperwork off back to Melbourne, and then they've got to return the bloody the birth certificate to me, and then all that does is means then I can finally get another form filled in, which is the one that is required for the sale of my my flat. So it's a lot of bureaucracy just to get the thing done. If I'd known ahead, and of course the complication is that I'm going to be overseas for a month in about 10 days, so that's great. So the my birth certificate might be sitting in my letterbox for weeks on end before I get back into Cairns, which is not ideal. So it's all a bit of a stuff up, and I just wish I'd known that this was going to happen. I never envisaged that this would be an issue before I went ahead with the sale, because the agent said that the preferred settlement periods are 30 and 60 days, which makes sense. And of course he said we can do it even sooner if possible, but that's not looking like it's going to even be possible, given that I can't establish my ID until I get this paperwork into Victoria and get my birth certificate back, and then get lodged the form. I just don't have enough time to do that before I leave, unless they allow me to send them these papers as attachments on email, which they should be able to do, but they don't provide it as a standard service. Of course, what would have made this life simpler is if their online verification system worked. It required me to put details from my Medicare card and my passport in, and the thing didn't seem to like the fact that my passport had all my full name, which included my middle name of Douglas. The other one didn't have that name, so it created a mismatch between the passport and Medicare card, and so it rejected it, even though I was actually answered 4 other questions that came after that, which were amazing, because I don't know where they got the information from. They were asking where I worked in 1982, for God's sake. You know, it's a bit spooky they got that much information on you. But they did. They knew where I'd actually worked back then. And there was a couple of other personal details they had, which I was quite staggered. I don't know where they got that information from, but, you know, it's getting a bit big brotherish these days. They do have a lot of information on us. And that just proved it. So apparently this legislation is in, this tightening up of IDs to stop foreign buyers who aren't actually legit. Although my real estate agent tends to think it's not just foreign buyers, it's a general buyer thing, but I have a feeling that might be specified at the Chinese buyers, because they've been apparently purchasing allegedly purchasing properties where you're supposed to have occupation in them. That's part of the deal, being able to buy property in Australia, but they're being left vacant, which is not what the legislation says. So, you know, in pure form, it's actually illegal what they're doing. So, I think that's why they brought the legislation. But basically, we're all being caught with it. We all have to now adhere to these checks. And if you've got a driver's license, I suppose it's not an issue. And if you've got a driver's license and passport anyway, if you just had a driver's license, though, you'd still have to find your birth certificate. It could be a hassle for a few people. I've got an extracted one somewhere. God knows where it is, but I wouldn't be able to, yeah, not off the top of my head, so I had to go and apply for the bloody thing.